Good morning, crew. So I needed to make this video today. It's kind of overwhelming how cheap electricity is, okay? I'm gonna add real quick, okay? I'll add a couple of videos on the bottom here, and then we'll come back and talk about this. I charged my wife's Model Y last night, overnight, okay? We were down to about 25% when we got home last night. I threw it on an overnight charger to be ready at 6:30 or 7 a.m. this morning, something like that. She had to take off early this morning and take off. So anyway, when it got charged this morning, I charged it to 80%. We went 25 to 80, okay? At 80%, we had added 43 kilowatts of energy, kilowatt hours, okay? So we added 43 kilowatts into the battery to get it to 80%. So I had gotten an email a couple weeks ago from Ameren that says, hey, you've been approved for PowerSmart pricing where your electric bill every hour is a different rate. Every hour of every day, nonstop. So let me show you I'll add these two quick videos, then we'll come back and I'll finish up this whole video. But it shows you, one of the videos is going to show you what the cost was overnight last night, okay? Everything from 1.9 to 2 cents a kilowatt overnight. Every hour was different, and I don't know exactly when it started charging, if it started at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever to get done, okay? But I only have a 32 kilowatt charger. That's all I have. I'll tell you about that in a little bit too. So check out these two videos, and the other one shows that we added 169 miles on the Tesla app, okay? But I added 43 kilowatts. This morning when I saw that it had finished charging, now my wife has already taken off on the car and driven it, so the mileage that's up at the top is, she's already been driving 20, 30 miles this morning. So, but anyway, the mileage down at the bottom, we added 169 miles of charge, average. Depending on what you could get 10 miles if you drive like a drag racer, but anywho, off task. Check out these two videos. We'll get back and then I'll explain everything and we'll break it down. We'll get some specifics. Stand by. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. I had to close the window because they're mowing and trimming and weed whacking at our condo complex, okay? So, as you saw in the one video, every hour the price was different, okay? So here's what I did. I know this time frame in here is when the car charged, whether it started at 2 a.m. or whatever. So during those times, I took the 7 hours up through 7 a.m. time, and I divided those 7 prices, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6, 1.7, 2 cents a kilowatt, okay? I averaged, last night, I averaged paying 1.75 cents per kilowatt, okay? So, I added 43 kilowatts or 169 miles. I go the kilowatts because I might get 169 miles, but I might get 150 miles. It just depends on all of our driving habits, okay? The 43 kilowatts times 1.75 cents per kilowatt that I paid, okay, was 0.7551 cents last night. 75 cents. Oh, let's round it up, way up. 76 cents. I paid 76 cents to go from 25% to 80% charge, okay? Now, I've had people comment, well, there's taxes and there's fees and there's 911 fees and there's a this fee and a that fee and somebody's cousin's nephew's fees. And I get all that, okay? That's on everybody's bill anyway, okay? Every single bill, when I was paying 12 cents a kilowatt last month, I still had everybody's sister's, cousin's, nephew's, whatever, fees on there. I'm just talking about kilowatts added, okay? And I can't get into my bill yet because it's too soon to show you, but I added 43 kilowatts and I averaged over those 7 hours 1.757 cents per kilowatt. Even though all of these background fees and whatever for Ameren is the same on everybody's bill, the price per kilowatt is different. And if I can find this here, I wrote this down too. When I was paying, I got too many numbers on my page. I had it. I just had it here. When I was paying 12 cents a kilowatt, where'd it go? I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. Stand by. Okay, it was on my paper, but I got lots of numbers. Lots of numbers on there. So, last month, when I charged, it would have cost me $5.16 at 12 cents a kilowatt to add those 43 kilowatts, which is what we did. That's still dirt cheap. If you break it down and say, let's say instead of 196 miles, say I only went 175 miles on that. We're trying to break this down. Okay, 175 miles to go, and it would have cost me $5, $5.16. Even last month, it was dirt cheap. Okay, so all of these people who talk about the astronomical fees of charging and the astronomical prices, charging is, I've seen it in some of these magazines. Oh, charging an EV is just as expensive as paying for gas. No, it's not. And people who drive EVs know this. Everybody knows this, okay? So it's like second grade math. But to go one further, our van, when we drove around town, we averaged 22 miles per gallon. Every time I would check my wife's van when we had it, 21.9, 22.0, 22.1, 20. Every time I filled it up, I kept track of it. And we averaged about 22 miles per gallon on average, with all of what we do, driving to the grandkids' house, a little bit of highway, a little bit of in town, stop and go, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I just did the math on that. And so if I drove, what I did was I took the 196 miles that we gained, I divided it by the 22 miles per gallon, which would have been 8.9 gallons of gas to go that far in the minivan, okay? And last night I saw the gas was $3.59.9 at our local gas stations around. That would have cost us $32.06. $32.06 in the van, okay? That was the van cost to go the same distance. And it's apples to apples because my wife's van is now replaced with the Model Y, and that's what she drives every day, okay? So last month, it would have cost me $5.16 to go that same distance, okay? Today, breaking it down, it cost me 76 cents to go that same distance. So PowerSmart pricing from Ameren is going to pay off big time. We only charge overnight anyway in both of the cars, whether it's the Bolt or the Model Y. But when you can average overnight 1.7 cents a kilowatt, 1.6, 2 cents a kilowatt, it's a no-brainer. It is literally a no-brainer. So I had to jump on and make this when I saw the prices last night. That's why I made that video. The miles added, then also the hour per hour, and I divided the 7 hours where it charged, somewhere in there. But what I wanted to break down further is the charger that we use is my GM charger that came with my Chevy Bolt, and then I added, I think it cost me $100 or $150 to add the NEMA 1450 plug, which pops in, pops out of that. Okay. Here's a problem with this plug. It has an overheat protection, and I did a video on it a couple months ago maybe. It has an overheat protection on it, which is a good thing. You don't want it to overheat. But it's a 32 kilowatt charger, max, you know. I don't want to charge anymore. We don't need to charge any more than that, any faster than that anyway. But what happens is it doesn't always charge at 32 kilowatts. And I need to make a video of that next month. If it gets warm, you'll see the charger, and I see it on the Tesla Model Y. It tells me how many kilowatts is being charged. And I'll see it say drop down to 24 kilowatts, or sometimes down to 12 kilowatts. And I can go look at the charger, and it'll have an amber light on it with the blue, like, oh, it's still pushing out a little bit of charge, but the charger got, and it's not the charger. The charger is in the car. The car can accept, I think, 48 amps, I think. So not 32 amps, but it can handle 48 amps. Did I say kilowatts earlier? I meant amps. It's a 32 amp charger plug that transfers 32 amps of power from the house to the car. But when that gets warm, it cuts down to 24 or 16 or sometimes 12, and it'll do that for a few minutes, and then it's cooled off, and then it jumps back to 32 amps for a while. And then, so it is not capable. I've got good wiring, I got oversized wiring, I got a good box, electrical box, everything else is fine. It's the relay of power from that GM product is not allowing it. So when I say I'd like the Model Y to be done, or the 2023 Chevrolet Bolt, I want it done at 5:30 a.m., a lot of times it's not done at 5:30 a.m. So I've had to kind of adjust that back. Like this morning, I knew my wife was leaving at, I don't know, 7:45, something like that this morning. She had to take off. So I set it for 6:30 a.m. to be done charging. Well, it wasn't done at 6:30. As a matter of fact, it took till like 7:20 to get done. And it's not anything to do with the car. It's not the car's fault. The Chevy Bolt is the same way. If I set the Bolt to be ready at 5:30 a.m. so that I can start doing some Uber driving, if I went out at 5:30, a lot of times it says, oh, another 30 minutes and we'll be done. Another 42 minutes and it'll be done. And it's only during the hot seasons, during the heat of summer, when it's wintertime or it's fall or spring, GM, I keep calling it a charger, but the power source doesn't overheat. Spring, fall, winter. I have no issue. If I set it for 5:30, it's done at 5:30. And that's in both cars. So I just want to add that in, that if it was doing this total 32 amps, it would have been ready at 6:30, ready to go. It would know, the car knows when to start charging because it's going to accept 32. The problem is halfway through the charge in the middle of the night, if that power supply overheats, which I want it to do that. If it has a problem with that and it doesn't, maybe the internal parts can't handle it. So I want it to drop down to 24 or 16 or 12 for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's fine. And I've just made my adjustments to adjust for that, so that I know if I need to take off at 5:30 a.m., I can't set my Chevy Bolt to be ready at 5:30. I have to set it to be ready at, say, 5 or 4:45, knowing that by 5:30 a.m., okay, it'll be where I want it to be. So with that, I just had to make this. I just had to make that video once I saw the price, and it's doing nothing but saving us money by going to PowerSmart Pricing. I want to get a full bill so that I can start analyzing kilowatts versus kilowatts, what I was paying, what I will be paying, what I am paying, and we'll go from there. All right. So everybody, please like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Stay safe, and God bless.